If you don't have that much.
Oh, no, I do. But you could give me a signal.
Too far. So whatever your reading is.
I don't know. Well, I don't know who does what.
But she's looking for something, so I don't know.
I'm looking for the microphone. So I'm doing pretty much all of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're doing, okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You saw me time and I went,
No, I don't think, not my time.
Good morning. It is delightful to see all you beautiful souls who have braved the surface of the sun to join us at worship this morning in this beautiful space. I want to welcome you to Pilgrim Congregational United Church of Christ. I am Pastor Megan Owens. Today we have a wonderful guest preacher, the Reverend Dr. Barbara Ledger. And I should have read this first because it's pronounced Leje. I did skim this. She is a peaceivist, and she focuses on what peace is, what it does, how it works, and how to use it. And I believe we are going to hear some of that today. And she has put up a table for anyone who's interested in the fellowship hall about her work with Ukraine. She graduated from the Holmes Institute of Spiritual Leadership and became a licensed minister in 2000 and was ordained in 2003. And she thinks globally and acts locally in any country where, and we quote, the Golden Path of Peace projects takes her, and that is her project, which I believe we are going to hear about. Ukraine is her deepest soul calling, where she has served since arriving to serve on 9/11/2001. And she is a guest speaker, workshop facilitator, and leads team building and strategic planning retreats and seminars. So we welcome your participation, feedback, sponsorship, time, and talent, and treasure, and that's all of us. With all of her, with all of her. I'll just say that. I was at Pride yesterday, and I think I'm a little sun-scorched up here. So it was a beautiful day. So we appreciate insight, caring, and support for paving the stones of peace, which I know merges with our own intentions for the world in this community. So we really welcome Barbara to come with us. Thank you, Barbara, for sharing with us this morning. And I want to make sure you all know that whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are most welcome here. And you are all invited after the service to fellowship time, which is down the hall to the left. And should nature call, it is down the hall to the right. And I would like to ask you now to take a deep breath. And consider what brought you here this morning to worship our incredible God together in this beautiful space with these amazing people. As our candles are lit, we begin our worship.
Good morning.
It just needs to be closer to.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we are. My name is Bobby Simpson, and I am proud to be your liturgist today on this fine June day. Please stand as you are able for the call to worship. Today we proclaim we want to experience more peace. Today we proclaim we want to experience more peace.
Let us find a way through story and song.
Today we proclaim we want to experience more peace.
Let us affirm the world of possibility that is envisioned in our hearts. Let us find the deep vein of our song and put into practice our deepest dreams of wholeness, peace, and unity.
Let us pray. God, Lord of us all, most holy one, help us to respond to you, to create what you want for us in our heart. Give us today enough for our needs. Forgive everyone and deliver from us, just as we must forgive others when they hurt us. Help us to resist evil and to do what is good, for we are yours, endowed with your power to make our world whole. Amen. Please remain standing for our opening hymn for the healing of the nations, number 576, and the new song.
God of wonder, God of love and presence, we thank you for the ways our lives celebrations. We thank you for the spaces in which we can celebrate and must celebrate who we are. We thank you for the places and the people that gather around us. And we thank you for time with family. We thank you for time with family chosen and those primary families. We thank you for the ways that we are gathered into community. And we thank you for this beautiful garden that we still are called to tend. May we tend it well. We also lift up the reality that life can be a struggle, that our earth is struggling, that people are struggling in grief, loneliness, that people are struggling in violence, in situations where violence feels one-sided. Enter our consciousness, Lord. We lift up all of those who are hungry, for those who seek shelter, for those who are in despair. May they know they are accompanied. May we continuously remind each other, even if by sitting silently together, you are not alone. And we are thankful, Lord, that we are your hands in your world. And whatever we do, when we do it for your desire for justice and love and wholeness, however small it seems to us, we know it will transform the world. In the name of Christ we pray. Amen.
This morning's reading.
This morning's reading is a quote from Howard Thurman. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm very happy to be here. And I want to just do a sound check. That sounds good. And a time check, because I know today has been a special service, and I don't want to go over the hour long, so I want to make sure that I know what I'm up for.
It's too late.
It's too late. Okay. Well, good. I tend to operate on that scale myself.
It's too late and it's
No, there's never fault when you follow Spirit's call. That is for sure. That I know. My name is Barbara Leger, and I have a Canadian passport, an American green card, and a Ukrainian soul. And that has informed my life.
Can you speak louder or put the microphone closer, please?
Thank you. I have a Canadian passport.
That's good.
Is that better?
Yes.
An American green card, and a Ukrainian soul. It's a lot to carry around. It's a lot to keep mindful of. But the easiest thing is when you put before you the things that matter most, you're not doing the heavy lifting all by yourself. That's what we were talking about already this morning, right? And I've had a life, and I have a life. I have such a juicy life. I have had more experiences than I ever could have imagined, and traveled and done things that I had no idea I had the capacity for. And I can tell you that there's a reason why that has been possible. And I don't know about you, but you know the word humanity? I mean, one thing that's so cool is how many shared words we have in our language. When I listen to Reverend Megan and read and in your materials and think about what I write, we talk about the power of walking with God wherever we go, walking in the light. We talk about the power of community as a place to practice all of that godliness that we hope that we are learning to embody, which we can't do by ourselves. We can't do it without each other. And then we sing because it moves us beyond words. And we feel these things. And sometimes we wax eloquently about community of humanity, that big H word, humanity. And we talk about it like we all know what it means. And honestly, I spend most of my life seeking to understand really what does it mean, humanity. Because I love to invoke it so that I can dissolve all the differences that we have and say, look, our hearts are all built the same way. Under our skin, we're all the same color. I love to just dismiss the differences by putting us all in this big humanity. I read somewhere last night in my study of this community and watching a couple of services, I read a term that I use, which is, do we have the connective tissue in humanity that really holds us together, or are we making it up because it's convenient? It's easier, I promise you, and you probably know because maybe I'm not alone, it's easier to say we belong to a humanity and its nature is wellness and goodness and love and peace, and peace is its operating system, and when we're at peace, then everything else gets easier. And that's true. But is it because of humanity? Is it because there is this reality that holds us together that way? It's like, if you've ever been an accountant or done your own books or whatever, you know that you can make numbers work. You know how to move things around so that they all fit and it all balances. And it's not against the law. You're just like, oh, that's really not just that, it's also that, so we can share it. Well, I think that, we could talk for a week about this topic, and I have 10 minutes. And I'm not known for my being so precise. Now, when something like that happens in Ukraine, when you're saying something and there's some untoward sound that comes in, it could be a dog outside or a bird flies through or whatever, everybody in the audience would say, "Это правда." It means it's true. So we do walk in the light. My name means light. The first time I ever got to preach, I was in school. I was studying to become a pastor. And although we called it ministers, and the person, she went into labor, my teacher. And it was Wednesday night, and there she was, and she needed to go. And I was her assistant, and she said, "Okay, you've got it." And I went, "Really?" And I didn't really have it. But they had those candles, they had a clicker to make the candles light. And I didn't practice with the clicker, and so I tried to get the candle to light, and it wouldn't. And here I am, nervous, and there's a whole big row of people. It's in Santa Rosa, big community. And all I could think of is, okay, well, my name means light, so I guess I'm going to have to be the candle tonight. And I went, oh, do you really believe great to know. I wouldn't have known that if that candle had lit with that little device. Do I believe we have to have difficult things in order to know the truth? No, I don't believe that. But I believe that up until now, that's how we've created it, so that we have division to force us to remember that maybe we're part of a humanity, or maybe our hearts are always connected, or maybe whatever you are, I am too, or maybe I only see it because I'm it. I'm grateful for 2 difficult lessons I've had in the past 3 days, where the infinite, whatever name we call God, whatever handle you use for it, the infinite brought me 2 experiences in the past 3 days that showed me something that I do, that I knew I kind of did and I didn't really want to, and there it was. I had to see it. I didn't have to, actually. I could have just said, and not owned my part. So the kind of peace that I believe in, the kind of peace that I practice now, not when I started, because when I started, I arrived on 9/11, and exactly at the time that the towers were falling, 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Ukraine, I landed. It was my 3rd visit to Ukraine. I had worked in the Soviet Union, I had worked in Russia, I had 50 words of Russian. I was a new minister, I thought I knew it all, I thought I was brave and conscious and loving and all that stuff. And I went there to teach them. And my interpreter, who had been traveling with me all around the Soviet Union as we tried to bring our nations together through money and joint projects, after 2 days in his house, or maybe it was 2 weeks, he said to me, "Barbara, it's really nice you came here to teach us about peace and love. It would be really great if you had it." I didn't know that about me. I didn't know I was trying. I didn't know I was efforting. I didn't know I thought I knew it all. I didn't know that I liked knowing it all. I didn't know any of those things. Yeah, you got it. So my journey is about being able to see that when you notice something that's not working, what do you do with it? I'm a very practical person now. I used to live in the clouds. I don't have any earth in my chart. I have 1 water, you know, if you're into astrology. When you walk the medicine wheel, you know, I'm all about fire and air and change and all of that. But now, for the past 23 years, I've been guided to figure out, why am I here? What is this about? What is possible in me? I love this word of possibility that we lean into in this community and mine. My family were wagon trainers. They were loyalists. They left in 17-something, 74, and ended in Canada. I was raised in one of the first 7 houses that these wagon trainers built. I have pilgrim energy all through me. I love it. I love the challenge and the newness. The biggest challenge that I have today, it's the one probably most of us have, is how do we live in harmony with our neighbors? How do we live in harmony in our own town, in the grocery store, in the churches, in the schools? Oh my God, in the schools. Everywhere. How do we do that? We talked today about what Pride was like yesterday. You know, first Pride Week in San Francisco. I remember the nuns and all their outrageous outfits, and it was wonderful. But the pushback was so hard. There's so much pushback. And we draw these lines in the sand. And we don't remember that we're born from God, for God, and all that we are is God, and everything that we do is the manifestation of God if we let it. If we let it. So there was something else I was totally going to talk to you about in the remaining 6 minutes. But I'm not going to, but I hope you invite me back. Because the work I'm doing in peace in Ukraine, I'm not doing by myself. We are in the public school system now. I've changed teaching spiritual studies and all these godly things because, in fact, it hasn't got us to deal with ourselves correctly. We have this theory and we have what we're supposed to do and we think about it on Sunday, and then it's easy to forget on Monday when some crazy person is driving 3 inches from the back of your car. And Reading is unbelievable about that. So I figured that really, we cannot, like, I saw this sign, Be the Church, last night, and I saw the word fight, and I went, no, I can't go there. Inside of our language is the way we function as we're dealing with the us and them in the world. And the us and them in the world is the biggest issue we've got. You know, you can boil it all down. You can take global warming, you can take hunger, you can take poverty, you can take racism. It's all about the us and them. Which us are we, and which them are they? And if you really want to see the world that works, if you have anything in you that says, you know, I want peace, but there's always been war, I'll say BS on that. Just there is another way. Peace is not the absence of war. You know, we've had no war in Europe for 70-something years. We just celebrated that. But that doesn't mean there weren't wars. Thousands of them, little ones in our heads, yours, mine, between countries, but they were all okay, we justified it. They were all just, you know, how it works and la la la, but ultimately it's going to have to energize again and act itself out because we're feeding it. So we can't keep feeding that. So in our language, we can't fight against the injustice and hope to win. Because when we fight it, we activate the opposition. When we draw a line in the sand, everybody comes out to protect their side of it. When the first Iraq War broke out, I was in Santa Rosa in my office. I was on the Chamber Board of Commerce, Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I was wearing a pink and beige and cream white suit with matching bag and shoes, and I was doing the corporate thing in my company. And I heard the news, and I took my designer's T-square and a piece of foam core, and I made a sign, and I went and stood in front of my bank across from the Chamber of Commerce. And I had a sign, and I said, love our soldiers, bring them home. It was the only conscious, this is the most conscious I could be at the time. And then a Buddhist came with his prayer wheel, and he started doing that, and I felt so relieved, because I felt pretty alone. But pretty soon the other side showed up, and they started yelling, and then driving, and pretty soon we're all yelling at each other. And we lost the moment. And we cannot fight what we don't want. Buckminster Fuller, who I had the joy of knowing, working with, said, you don't change reality by fighting against it. If you want something new, build a new model, and the old model will become obsolete. So now when we look at this us and them, the denomination, I know a denomination that put out a whatever they do, a proclamation about how worthy we are and how we deserve to be respected in our DEIB world, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and how this is right, and how this is who we are, and this is what we want, the presidents and the leaders to accept us as we are, so there. And everybody was excited because it was well crafted. It was beautiful, it was respectful of us and of them, but what did it do? It drew a line in the sand. Because it didn't say, and so who are you? And what do you want to be known for? What's in your heart? Because when we draw the line, if we're being politically correct, we don't have the chutzpah to say it or to talk about it. But I do. See, I don't care. I'm old enough, and I've fallen off the turnip truck several times, and I don't really care what people think about me. What I care about is, am I okay with God? Am I okay in the way I'm living my life? I don't have to like the situation, but I have to like me in the middle of it. And am I being peaceful or am I preaching peace? Am I an example for people? Even in my struggles, I struggle all the time. But in both those situations that were given to me in the past 3 days, I practiced what I intended to talk to you about today. And so, I think I'm going to end there without doing anything else. But just know that there's weeks worth of information and study with me that somehow I feel like I need to give the world. But here's how it works. At the first sign of distress, the very first sign, somebody is mad, they cut you off on the freeway, or they give you that dirty look, or they're not being nice and you're sure something is going on, or they're pounding on your door. At the very first sign, if it's not a dragon, in which case if it is, you get out of there, but if it's anything else, you take a breath like this. So bring into your mind something that disturbs your peace today. Just bring it in. One breath of peace has enough to shift the autonomic nervous system back into gear. And then you feel what it feels like, and your body says more. And give it a little more. And then ask yourself, who do I want to be in this situation? Am I being peaceful or am I reacting? And I teach kids in public school in Ukraine. I don't teach them, I train their teachers, and I talk to them like Mr. Rogers. I make little videos, I just love that, Mr. Rogers thing. And I say to them, the event you didn't cause. Maybe you had a hand in it, but you didn't probably. But your relationship to that event determines your experience of it, which determines how you live. It determines what you think about. Humanity, we are the sum of everything we've ever done throughout the ages and all of our ancestors. And so I say to them, if you can catch that breath and you can then stop yourself and say, what is my relationship to that situation and what do I want it to be? That's the choice for peace. It's the peace first breath and the choice to put peace first. And if you can do that, you are a millionaire in consciousness. And I tell that to 7-year-olds, and you know what? They do not resist. They don't tell me, oh, I know all about that. You know, we all understand that, but how do we really make a difference? I go, really? Every one of us makes a difference. But we have to live it. We have to be vulnerable. We have to let our fear show. We have to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you what to say to my son so I can have him be the way I think he should be. I shouldn't do that. That's not for me. We have to do those things. And then we have to give trust to our body that guides us to know those moments when if we don't catch that breath, we're going to go into automatic and hurt somebody or hit somebody or say something that we would not appreciate later. We have to catch that moment. And it's easy, you just have to practice it. And the third step of putting peace first is to be grateful that you had the chance. Grateful that you have this idea to practice. I guarantee it. I guarantee that it works. We've graduated 17,000 kids in 3 years. And every one of them knows how to say to the new relationship they have with their teacher, Natalia, Dishit, breathe. They know how to call for prayer in the middle of the classroom, only we call it breathing. We call it peace. They know how to call for it, and it works. And they run to the bomb shelter, and you can tell the kids who are in our program, because they're not screaming and yelling. They're holding hands with somebody who's crying. They're saying, it's okay, come on, breathe with me. Here you are. We're okay, I'm with you. These are 7-year-olds and 17-year-olds. So, anything is possible. You're darn tootin' anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Could you share with us before you conclude, for the viewers that won't be able to attend afterwards, your website or an email or a phone number? What is the best way you prefer for viewers to contact you about your...
Oh, thank you. That is so nice. There's so many wonderful things about this community that I observed last night in my dance through your website, which looks really good, and I hear that you've been working on it too, because I remember from the announcements on May 30th that you were giving thanks for the new website. So, see, that's how it works.
Yes.
You don't just do the website and hope somebody goes there and sees it. You
Correct.
drive them to it that way.
Yep.
And you support the people that support you. That's how it works. Mwah! Beautiful. So you can reach me at info@goldenpathofpeace.org, all one word.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to just do one more thing. You used the word listen, and Heart Song was in here, and I want to just end this so that we don't move into announcements or whatever without catching this moment. And please take this into your heart. It was just like 12 seconds. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen. And that's what we need to do to all the people that we're othering. We need to listen and lean into what is their heart song, because they have them just like we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just have a few announcements. Barb, in her beautiful talk for us this morning, Barbara said, "I hope you have me back." I thought we did confirm a date in September, so she will be back. I just wanted to confirm it. I know how that goes. Yeah, we will have you back for sure. Thank you so much for your beautiful talk for us this morning and for your work in the world. We also have today, there's a market meeting in the fireside room. If you are interested in being part of our country market, or I'm going to just say if you're wondering what it is, please join us for a short informational meeting in the fireside room. We're getting it going and hoping to build on our success of the re-emergence of it as a full-fledged market last year. So that will be in October and details to come. And then on June 26th, which is this Wednesday at 6 p.m., there will be a COCO meeting on Zoom. If you are a ministry co-coordinator, please join us. I'm guessing Pam will be sending out a link. And we have a large party coming who is going to do a huge dinner in here, and we will need help taking chairs out and putting tables in on the 27th. And then that's Thursday, and then on the 29th, we will need help cleaning up. So those of you who've reached out about that, thank you. If you are free on those days and are looking for times, please call Gail in the office Tuesday through Thursday, and we'd be happy to have you come and help out. And on that note, I ask you all to stand as you are able for our closing hymn. It's number 391 in that black hymnal. Sorry? What? All verses. Yes, thank you. This one we're going to do all verses. What's the number?
391.
Peace, peace, peace on earth and goodwill to all. This is a time for love. This is a time for joy. So let us all sing together. Peace, peace, peace on earth. Go in peace. So the Lord you are free. And let us gather into our beautiful circle as we send one another out into the week.
All right, we got our nice little circle here. Small but mighty.
Hi, small and mighty.
Okay.